Oop, move my shirt over there. There we go. Professionalism, right? Hi everybody, it is Rob, and visiting with us today, all the way from the front yard, the front part of the property, is Miss Happy Hair Painless here. And what you wanted to talk about, you know, a little bit now that we're kind of in the middle of the whole pandemic and the quarantine and everything else. One of the things I can brag on my wife for doing is doing her bit to keep us healthy. I can't brag on that fly buzzing in my ear. That's going to annoy me. Yeah, it'll be amusement. One of the things she's been doing, though, and she's always been good at, is making sure we get lots of vitamins, lots of healthy things to eat. I do my part to balance out the healthy things with some of the stuff I like. I got to have my chips and dips and my cheese and crackers and my, yeah.
Swiss rolls.
Swiss rolls, yes. Little Debbie. I'm sorry, baby. There's another woman. But one of the things we're going to talk about, something we got that we have, I don't know, been big on or whatever else, that she has been good on that I really never knew a lot about, are things called fermented foods. Is that right? That's the right term? Fermented foods are pickles. Not pickles. Do pickles count? I don't know if they would or not.
Yes, but it depends.
If they're
The health benefits are different depending on how they get to that point.
So if it's just like straight up vinegar pickles, not so much?
If it's not a natural ferment. So like if you can them and make your pickles, then they're not fermenting naturally. They're doing it quick.
Okay.
And you're using the brine. Where with like sauerkraut and that kind of thing, it's fermenting in a slow, natural process.
Okay, and that's one of the things that we're big on too, is sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut. That fly, wouldn't you know, I hadn't seen a fly all day until we turned the camera on. Sauerkraut, we're big on sauerkraut. We're not as big on kimchi, but that's a fermented kind of food too. I like kimchi. I don't think it'd go over real well with the rest of my family. I used to have a buddy that had spent a lot of time in Korea, and he learned to like kimchi, and I ate a lot of it with him, Tom. And
Figured or Steve.
Steve probably into it too, I don't know. But things like that. But not just those, but just other good things. Right now, we're getting eggs. I mean, we're getting eggs. We got eggs. And we're going to talk about that a little bit here in a second. Something else that we have is some stuff here that I've known about for a long time, and I used to. Well, I'm sure I always knew about the health benefits, which is why I always drank it. However, it may not be the only reason I drank it. But this is just called apple pie. Now, some people have referred to it as apple pie moonshine. Now, that's not an accurate term, because what this apple pie is basically just apple cider with a good dose of Everclear mixed into it to give it that alcohol. I don't even know if you would call that a fermentation that it goes through after it sits for a while. But it's basically Everclear, apple cider, and like several parts apple cider to the Everclear, and then a healthy big dose of cinnamon, which is a healthy thing. Cinnamon supposedly has lots of good anti-something or another, anti-bad health benefits. I don't know, antibacterial, antibody, I don't know what it is. But anyway, cinnamon's supposed to be a really good thing for you. This has a big healthy dose of cinnamon in it. And it also, you can put in some other things to give it flavor. Basically apple pie seasonings and things. I like a little bit of nutmeg and a pretty good dose of cloves in mine, although I don't think this one has that. We got a friend that doesn't like some of that stuff as well. And so, I think does he like cloves? No, I didn't think so.
He's allergic to it.
Yeah, okay, so that's why we didn't put any in this one. Yay me. But another thing that's healthy and something that we make, and it literally sits on the counter months and months and doesn't seem to go bad. We probably ought to check it, I guess. By the way, for those of you not from the South that don't understand drinking from a jug, if you're a city dude maybe from up north or something like that, or some other people, and you hold the jug and you drink it this way.
It might be because you have a bad wrist.
It might be, or it might be that you don't know how to do it right. Southern boys and Southern girls do it this way, where you get a finger or two fingers in through the jug here, and you turn it and you rest it on the rest it on the crotch of your elbow, and then you just tilt and pour. like that. Would you care for one?
I'm not drinking it like that.
Oh,
my wrist.
you're gonna be a city girl.
Yep, I am today.
All right, I understand. I won't fault you for it. That's my gal. But we drink it because it's healthy, not because if you have too much, you stumble across the room. So that's one more thing. We've got a regimen of vitamins and things like that what we take. It's not any big deal or whatever, but we do what we can to stay healthy. We don't get sick very often. We really don't. That thing I had last fall, that's about the most sick we get. Sarah had a little something going on. We get a touch of something once in a while, but most of the time, being sick is a rare thing for us. Now, partly that's because we live off out here in the country and we're not around 600 people every day, which we're okay with. But we're getting off track. One of the things I was going to talk about that we did, because we got so many eggs, is I made a batch of pickled eggs. I hadn't done that in a while. There's 20 eggs in here, and only because the reason there's not 24 eggs in here is because 4 of them didn't come out right. So we had to use those for other things. But I've got another 30 eggs in the house that are boiled and ready to be peeled and pickled as well. This batch is about 2 days in now. No, it was yesterday, wasn't it? I don't know. Whatever it was, it's not ready. It'll be ready in about a week. It'll take about a week to 2 weeks for them to get good and flavored up, and then they'll be ready to eat. But then they'll store in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 months, or until I decide that they're not safe to eat anymore. And you know me, that won't be quick. Now I'm not even sure where I was going to go with this. I guess what I could tell you, I was going to mention that we've got it in this jar right here. It's a big jar. This is a pint jar. This is a quart jar. And this is
a half-gallon quart
a
jar.
half-gallon quart jar. That's kind of a joke amongst us and some friends. I don't even know how it got started, but I think what they meant to say half-gallon jars a few times, but they, instead of saying half-gallon mason jars, they said half-gallon quart jars, because we're used to referring to quart jars. But this is a bad quart jar, a half-gallon quart jar, because it's empty. That makes me sad. Empty quart jars are not as much fun as I said quart jar.
You did.
Empty half-gallon quart jars. I'm getting all messed up now. The empty jars aren't as much fun as the full jars, unless you just finished eating all of it, and then it was fun, but of course then it's instantly not fun again because it's empty again. It's a vicious circle, isn't it? So that's what that's all about. Now, if you don't have chickens, I wish you did. We've got a couple of friends, Wes S. in fact, it's sort of a, maybe not funny, but we were up in the Davis Mountains. We come down and see all the craziness happening, and Wes and I are talking like, hey, we're good, and Wes is like, well, we're not good. He said, we just decided we were going to be doing so much traveling and other things, they got rid of all their chickens and their goats. I mean, literally like 3 weeks before this all happened. They had just done it, and he's like, you know, maybe a little longer than that. But I'm going to save some eggs for him. We're getting some chicks. We're getting back in business again. But a couple other people I know don't have chickens and wish they did. We're glad we do. Somebody, a friend of ours we know, said eggs were $4 a dozen. Good grief. Good grief.
In the grocery store.
In the grocery store. That's insane. Having chickens is a no big deal thing. Having chickens is just about the easiest thing you can do. I mean, literally. All you got to do is feed them. That's about it. Yeah, feed them and water them. You know, if you live in town, if you want to keep chickens in town in your backyard, then you might need to, you know, fence your yard. Make sure your yard's fenced off good. Make sure you clip a wing or two. We should do a wing clipping video. What a great idea. I won't tell you why that's funny. But we'll do that. In fact, right here we may just kind of cut it and stick a video in about clipping wings, and then we'll be back here in just a second. Alright, so now we're back. So that this doesn't turn into a 2-hour video, I do want to talk about sauerkraut though. We got sauerkraut. Isn't it cute? One jug, except this one you don't pull the cork on, you lift the whole top off of it.
It's actually a cookie jar.
Starting to smell like sauerkraut at least. We ate some of it last night. It isn't ready yet. It is not sour. It has almost no flavor to it.
You can still eat it. Depends on what you. If you don't like sauerkraut, this is a really good way to get your probiotics, and it tastes better than what you are used to sauerkraut tasting like. I didn't like sauerkraut. Yeah, I never liked sauerkraut, but when we had homemade sauerkraut in the first stages, it's not as sour as in the later stages when he really likes it. But as time went on and I started eating more of it, I actually like it in the later stages now too. But in the beginning, I didn't like sauerkraut at all.
And sauerkraut is a really, really easy thing to make, right? Can I set it on that plate there?
On the plate, yeah.
Okay. And then here, we'll explain what's going on right here for those of you that don't know it. You know, it just occurred to me, one of the things we're not doing right now as far as the healthy things we usually do, we don't have a batch of sprouts going. Yeah, we don't. I wish we did. Anyway, this, it's starting to smell better, but it's still...
We poured too much water off of it.
We did? It looks like it's got plenty.
I added some.
Uh-huh.
We poured too much on.
Anyway,
yeah.
We'll figure that. Anyway, this is the sauerkraut. Oh, that's what's wrong. I don't have this where we can admire ourselves while we're doing this. I know that's what you like. Anyway, sauerkraut right in there. And I hope it's just the camera with all the weird light stuff this time, but sauerkraut is cabbage. That's all it is. To make sauerkraut, it's a pretty complicated process. Basically, you grind up cabbage, and then you mash it down. You kind of mash it where it gets some of the juices out of it and kind of opens up all the veins and the pores on the little pieces of cabbage. I mean, you grind it like coleslaw. Yeah. Coleslaw is sauerkraut on the hoof, I guess.
We're not on the hoof, but not fermenting yet.
Yeah, not fermenting yet. Yeah. And then so tell us about making sauerkraut. Just a short, simple.
Well, you cut it up, add some salt to it, because that will help start breaking it down, and then you pound it out, put it in a crock, or recently I found someone who does it in jars. That way, if something happens, if something does get in here and it goes bad, then you've only lost however much you put in a jar instead of a whole crock full.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
I probably will do that next time, but I'd already made it when I discovered that. And then after you put it in the crock or whatever it is that you're using, you add a little bit of whey. So
no way.
Yes, whey.
Sorry, that was bad.
And that you can get that off the top of your sour cream, cottage cheese, and it's that liquid that rises to the surface. Just pour a little bit of that in there, and that helps it start the process.
And that was kind of a cool
faster.
discovery too, realizing that that's where you get the whey. You don't have to go buy something special. You just got a little sour cream been sitting in there for a while, a little cottage cheese. You pour that juice off. And how much does it take of that? Like a couple of spoonfuls?
Yeah.
Just enough that it's got that already the enzymes and the aminos probably getting to work. Nice.
Yep. And then we put the water bag over it to seal the air, so the air doesn't get to the cabbage. So there's not something that's gonna. And then it goes in a plate because, depending on how full it is, the liquids will come up over the edge.
Yeah.
So,
as it begins to ferment, it begins to swell and kind of push and create. And it will. It'll come floating right over the top, even if you thought you had it way down. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Sauerkraut and sausage and beer is just as close to a perfect meal.
You get a perfect meal tonight.
I do? Yay. Well, no, it's not, because it's close, because it's still not sour. We had some of that kraut last night, and it was good. It was good, but it wasn't as sour. I like a bite of sauerkraut that about wrinkles my tongue when I put it in there. I like my tongue to go, no, just for that first couple of bites, but it is so good that way. Do you suppose it's any healthier the more fermented it gets? Or?
Probably.
Probably?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, this is just some stuff we do. We thought we would share with you and pass along, and we hope you enjoy it too. If you got questions, did you say you did a video for the sauerkraut?
No, I did not. I'd already done it.
Yeah.
When my friend who I talked to about the meat, I did one on
canning meat. That's right. Yeah, we canned some ground meat the other day. One of the things we plan on doing is if the power was to go out and the freezers quit, we jump out with the canner real quick and start canning meat in jars and preserving it that way as quick as we can.
So we had a trial run.
Yeah, oddly enough, we had not canned much meat. I mean, the thousands and thousands of jars of other stuff that we've canned, we hadn't done meat. I don't know how that worked out, but it didn't. Anyway, what else should we add to this? It's funny, before I start doing a video, I get inspired, I think of all these things I want to talk about, and then I get here and I go, hi, this is Rob, and then I can't think, or I think, but I go off 18 directions. Thank you. Anyway, thanks y'all, we hope, hope you enjoyed it. Bye. You didn't wave. Ah, she waved. I forgot to mention something. We just talked about that. This batch of apple pie is, maybe not quite, well, it's close though. It's probably a full year old right now. And if it's not a year old now, by the 1st of May it will be. And it's still good, and it has not been in a refrigerator. It has not been nowhere except sitting on a counter and actually for quite a long time forgotten about. So that's how long this stuff lasts, and it's healthy. That is all you need to know. It is healthy, right?
Just keep telling yourself.
Yeah, I absolutely will. All right, bye.